I ran up a check, I might do it again. Enemies close, had me thinking they're friends. 10 toes down, I'll be free until the end. Crib outside the city, I don't feel safe in my hands. Took so many years, I'm just waiting for the wins. I'm in debt to no one but the one who took my sins. I do it for real, there's no reason to pretend. If I do it once, I do it again. Add it up, bankroll, euro, peso, add it up, I'm just doing me, everything is on me.
Hello everyone, welcome to the Spot Real Talk. My name is Tiara.
I'm LaWanda.
I'm Tiffany.
And I'm Ron.
And today we are back here to talk about Force. This is the first season, episode 6. And we are going to get started in just a second, so hang tight.
One burnt you, know that ain't cool. Wanna show you how I'm nothing like him. Swear that's the truth. So you can't trust that I won't.
All right, everyone, we are back. And like I said, we're talking episode 6 of Force. It was titled, This Is Who We Are. And we heard that several times this episode, as you know, Tommy was talking with Claudia. This is who we are. This is who we are. But the episode opened up with everyone kind of like realizing their losses. Of course, Tommy and Jannard and Diamond were attending Elijah's funeral. And then you had the Flynn crew putting Simon to rest. And so it seems like everybody is, actually letting everything settle in and how great of a loss it was. And they all decide that it's time to part ways. I knew this little kumbaya moment wasn't gonna last long.
Yeah, I was pissed that they turned their back on Tommy like that. I get where they're coming from, because they're like, we all took losses and you didn't, and we rode for you. But that's what they agreed upon. They knew the risk going into it.
Yep.
And they're
gangsters. Exactly what Tommy said.
And they're gangsters. This is their lifestyle.
Right.
So I think all three of them should get the hands this week.
Well, I mean, and Diamond even said that. I mean, Diamond said we all signed up for this, and that's you got the chance. If you're going to kill, you got a chance to be killed. So,
right.
And it just didn't make sense. And something else I wanted to say about Jannard. Yeah, at the funeral, Jannard wants to blame Tommy for all of that, and all because Tommy didn't have a loss. Well, Tommy, how could he? He's by himself. So Tommy wasn't going to take a loss.
Yeah, and that little statement he made kind of let me know that maybe last week I was wrong, because
you and I are on the same page. I was ready to say that. I said, when he said that, I was like, okay. I said, maybe he did. It wasn't just for Liliana. He was trying to light Tommy up.
Yeah, he might have won his revenge.
Yeah, but I think the line of the whole show was what Walter said during Simon's funeral, and he said something to the effect, he hopes that Simon meets God, is up with God for a half hour before the devil knows. I mean, so obviously he knows where Simon's headed. He just hopes he's with God for at least a half hour. That right there lets you know that's a true gangster right there.
Yeah, I mean, it's the lifestyle. They signed up for it. They know what they're getting into. But, I was thinking about how the kids have been interacting with Walter too. And so Tiffany, I think last week you said that Victor had to know that his father would find out about what happened. And yeah, I mean, because if Vic is at war with the Serbs, then that means that so is Walter, ultimately. And Walter, he seemed like he was really like digging into Vic, like chastising him for getting Simon killed. And of course, that doesn't feel good when that wasn't your intention. But the kids still are like kind of on the fence about how they feel about their father's health condition. It seems like they're still chalking it up to bronchitis. And I'm like, come on, y'all.
Vic knows. Walter told him not to tell his sister,
Right.
because the call came while Vic was there. So Vic knows. He's just blatantly lying.
Right.
To her.
But then you seen later in the episode when Paulie found him on the ground, he refused to get any kind of medical care. He refused to come out with the truth to the other two. And we kind of got some color to that situation, because it seems like their mom's death might have been really sudden as well. And so he was like, don't do this to them a second time.
Well, I don't know if it was sudden. I think the mom had cancer too.
Yeah, she had cancer.
And that's why they're like, let them know what's going on.
But it's kind of crazy. You don't want to tell the kids for the sake of how they may feel. But what do you think they're gonna feel when you just wind up dead one day?
Right.
No,
But I think it's what we talked about last week, that in the power universe is not abnormal or out of the question for the kids to come for the parents. So maybe he feels like if they know he's sick, that they will view him as weak in their eyes and come for him now. And I think that's more of it. It's not so much, I think in a way he fears his children.
Yeah, because they're so ambitious to take over his throne. Yeah, but Walter proved that he is anything but weak, because after Victor told him that they had gotten him and Gloria had been shot at by the Serbs, Walter went up in there and lit it up.
I mean, like
said, tell him I did it.
Like a true G. But I want to say, I don't think it's that they'll come after him, because just like you said a moment ago, Vic already knows that he's sick, and Vic is already struggling with him. So if it were the fact that his kids knowing that he's sick, that he's afraid of what they may do, well, he didn't do too well with Vic in the last episode, smacking him and all that, coming after his girl. So I don't think it's that. I just think that he believes that it's just too much for them to handle after losing their mom.
But think about how Vic is trying to stand up to him now. I think he kind of fears that uprising in them, because Victor already was like, Gloria's coming to dinner, basically I don't care what you have to say about it, make sure she has a place at the table. And so they're already
remember what Gloria had already did to Vic. I mean, she's already said Vic loves her and Vic wants her. And so he's trying to prove his love and devotion to Gloria. So he's standing up against his father by any means necessary now, because he wants Gloria. And Gloria's like, look, if you don't get this together, I'm out.
Right, but that's why I'm saying that Walter might be withholding information from the kids, because he doesn't want them going against his word, even more so if they see that he's in a weak state.
Vic knows he's there. So.
Well, I wanted to say this about Vic. I mean, he came in the house and he told them that he got shot at and everything.
Right.
But he cleared CPI, because immediately Walter thought it was CPI. He cleared them, but I still felt like he left Tommy out there. I did not like that, because when he said, I think it was the Serbs. Mm-hmm. So of course the father rightly deduced that it was up to Tommy. So now I think he's gonna be coming for Tommy. I think he's gonna come for Tommy, because he's gonna feel like Tommy put his son in harm's way.
Well, he felt that from day one. Remember, he never wanted Vic to have anything to do with Tommy, because he didn't like Tommy, for what Tommy was, saying. So
I know, but I'm just like,
I'm putting Walter on the get the hands list for calling them spooks again this episode.
Yeah,
you better chill with that.
Yeah,
I told y'all there's several candidates for the hands list this week for me. Him and the crew for turning their back on Tommy like that.
And not only turned their back, they met secretly.
That's some punk stuff.
That's some
punk stuff.
Yeah.
They met behind his back and stuff. I was like, y'all some suckers.
But Tommy's a G. He handled it just like he was supposed to handle it.
Mm-hmm.
And some of them will be back. Watch.
Yeah. And while we're talking about Walter, I want to go to the situation with him getting raided by the feds, because they were making their move, and I guess they were hoping that they would catch him at this dialysis center that he runs. And thank God Claudia came up in there in the nick of time and got the password and paperwork and everything. But the way he deals with Claudia is kind of very harsh, and it's like that does not make me want to give my all to protect you. If you're going to talk to me any kind of way and blame me when I'm coming to your rescue,
right. He berates the kids.
He
berates the kids, because that's immediately, instead of saying thank you, he jumped on her. And then he did, He berated Vic too, even when Vic was mourning his friend Simon. He said
Yes.
Simon's been your friend since you're 3 years old. He immediately like, this is your fault. Like
Yep.
that was not the time for that.
Yeah. And so I hate the way he deals with them, but I mean, he's gonna have to understand that once he reaps what he sows, it's all gonna be because of what he did. It's all on him. And then the thing with Paulie, the feds were going after him, trying to, of course, like we said last week, get him to be the fall guy in their way in to take Walter down. And Paulie held his own.
And I said last week that Paulie is not going to give up Walter, and that's why I thought that was such a, like a freshman move for the FBI to come after.
Well, it is. They're grasping for straws at this point. They don't have anything to get them on.
Exactly.
They haven't used his son yet, though.
Yes, right.
That's what I'm saying.
That's coming.
He does have a soft spot.
Right, but we kind of got some more color on that situation though, because Paulie and Walter are not just best buddies, they're brother-in-laws.
Right.
So Paulie is married to Walter's sister, so that kind of adds some depth to the relationship. There is actual family ties there.
Right.
So let's just hope that son of Paulie's is not the downfall, because that would truly destroy a family. And the way we seen Walter take those Serbs out, I don't think he would hesitate on Paulie.
No, I don't think so. I think if Paulie like threatened to tell the kids what was going on, I think I could see Walter like taking him out before he could open his mouth.
I'm a lone ranger on that. I don't see it. I just that relationship is just too close.
They are close, but he does not want he is adamant about not wanting his children to know that he's sick. And I think if Paulie
didn't you say that Vic knows?
Vic knows, but Claudia doesn't know.
Okay.
And he's still downplaying it. So I think if it got to a point, because Paulie is family, and he always emphasizes to Walter, like, did you have a second chance with your kids? Look at me with my son. You need to do this. I can see him saying, well, if you don't tell them that you're sick, I'm going to tell them, or something like that. And I can see Walter like taking action against Paulie. If he threw down the gauntlet like that and forced his hand.
Yeah. And this whole situation with Claudia, so Tommy figures he's going to take his money from the drugs that he sold to Diamond, Jannard, and Vic, his earnings from that, he's going to reinvest it into the Dahlia. And so Claudia, I'm still worried about her in this game, because she is still green. And Tommy had to basically set up all of the distribution. So they go through this whole proof of concept this week with the lockers. And I was like, okay, they taking a pick out the PowerBook.
I thought the same thing. I was like, okay, isn't that Braden and Tariq's idea?
Right. And so I was like, well, would that work in this scenario? Because it's kind of like this convention center type building, and it has all of the security and feds and cameras. And they seem to prove that they can get around all that. But the point is to remain anonymous. And you can tell by like the way that, Mrs. Soto, when she took the drugs and her—
they were looking shaky. They looked shady. They were like,
yes.
Right.
Yeah, she
looked shady, and it was like really like suspicious. I think I would be suspicious. But when they actually got back to test the drugs and to try it out, they were impressed and they were ready to hop on board. So I'm thinking like, okay, if these drugs are that good and people are after them that bad, it's only a matter of time before they start scoping out the lockers and seeing who's making the drops and whatnot.
Well,
like I feel like that's how they're going to get. It's not as anonymous as they might think it is, I guess.
They're white people, and it'll take them a long time before they suspect white folks for doing anything. And if they were black, that suspicion would have fallen on the third person, But I also want to get back to the burial where she and Tommy were burying Maya. And Tommy did rightfully say that it comes with the territory and get used to it. and now she has a second body on her.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
I thought about what Tiffany said about Tariq. She's a serial killer. She became a serial killer that quick.
2
overnight.
That
weeks.
quick. That
She got
quick.
a body each week.
Mhm.
And
Right.
I was worried about her because I'm thinking, since she's so green and new to this, and she rightfully had to defend herself against Reggie. We know
Mhm.
that.
Right.
But it was kind of like spur of the moment. And I'm like, you can't just be killing people and hide it. Like, if this is gonna be an ongoing thing, then we might need to figure something out.
Listen, that scene with Tommy and Claudia at the burial twice, it made me think of this season of You. Any You fans out there?
Oh yeah.
that
Yeah.
with Joe and Love
Exactly.
burying all these people together. I was like, that was Tommy and Claudia this week.
And what it does is solidify their relationship too, because she now knows she really can depend on Tommy,
Mhm.
and so it really solidifies that union that she's building with him. So kudos for that.
But he
yeah.
has these 2 women on his team now
Yeah.
that have both proven to be liabilities.
Yeah, that
Well,
is
you know,
true.
it's like, of course, Claudia brings more to the table than
Yeah.
Liliana does, but Claudia's got to get it together with her string of killings.
Well,
Now
you
I'm
know,
gonna
they
give her
got,
Reggie. I'm gonna give her Reggie though.
yeah,
Reggie,
I was
yes.
going to say, because Reggie in the beginning was like, oh, I love you like a sister, and you're my favorite friend and stuff. And he pulled up on her like she was an op.
Right.
But she kept, she wouldn't answer his calls. And
But that didn't justify him hitting her and all the stuff, how he came
now,
at her.
wait, we know the game they're in. So he automatically assumed that she's going elsewhere with that product. And, like you said, the product is so potent, he wants in on that product. And that's an interesting fact that you mentioned a minute ago, Tiara, because of the product being the way it is, by the time these folk test that product, everybody's going to be trying to grab it for themselves.
And that's why I'm saying it's only a matter of time before, like, one of those people that have tested it out, they want to figure out who is the plug, because that's going to be the big like, who's supplying this? It's already, as you see in the previews, people are whispering around town about where this drug came from.
Mhm.
And so I think that it's only a matter of time before people just start staking the place out and seeing who's repopulating the drug in the lockers.
Mhm.
Speaking
So-
of staking out, DMAC was given the job to follow Tommy, and we saw that he followed Tommy to JP's house, looking through the window, and then he decides to go back to Jannard and throw the money and say, "Hey, you find somebody else to do this." So what did you gather from that?
Well, we kind of figured that DMAC would be Jannard's next man up since Elijah is gone. And now I think Jannard set him up to that, because he knows Tommy is not just going to lay down and go away. He knows he's trying to get the heads up and figure out what's his next move. And so by putting DMAC on that, I think it was a smart thing to do, but he doesn't know, or neither of them know the relation there. Yeah. And so with DMAC seeing that, I think that we obviously know that that's going to change his feelings on it, because he has strong feelings towards JP and feeling, I guess, abandoned by him. And by the way, we interviewed Anthony Fleming, who plays JP, recently. And so if you go back and check out our interview with him, he dropped some good details about, the history and the bond there between he and his son. And, you might glean some information about, what you might gather on how things will go with that relationship. So check that out. But I think that, and of course, if you looked at the previews for next week, he's back on track to follow Tommy, and Tommy kind of shows him his gun. So I think that's going to be the moment where he confronts Tommy, like, what were you doing with this guy, maybe, or who is he to you? I think that that's where the questioning is going to come in. But the fact that Tommy doesn't know about DMAC's relation to JP, it's all unfolding.
Yeah, you know what I thought about, and I was like, and I hope it doesn't go down like this. When DMAC returned the money and said he wasn't going to do it, I was like, I hope that Jannard doesn't get the other guy, what's his name, Marshall, to do it, because he's trigger happy.
Yes.
And and that could cause a dangerous situation. And like you just said, you said that D-Mac came back and got back on the job. And I was like, I hope so, because I'd rather D-Mac than old boy who's trigger happy, because somebody might get hurt before the truth even comes out.
And we know it ain't gonna be Tommy, because he's
right. We know it ain't gonna be Tommy, but it could be JP. And that's why I'm like,
But JP, in talking to Tommy this week, he kind of revealed some stuff, in the interview. Anthony told us that JP's character, when he feels backed into a corner and he might need to turn to the dark side, sooner than he wants to, or unwillingly.
He's desperate.
Yeah. And so desperation will drive you to do some things you normally wouldn't consider. And it seems like JP is sick of taking handouts. He doesn't want handouts from Tommy. And he kind of finally asked him, like, what do you really do? And Tommy told him he was a drug dealer, and he kind of wants in. And Tommy told him, like, slow your roll. Like this.
Yeah, he shut him down, and I'm glad.
But I think ultimately, though, he's gonna break him off something, because you saw how he took that when JP walked away from him, and he kind of had a big sigh.
He did.
But did you hear JP said, I've sold, like I've moved weight before.
And he cut him off. He cut him off. We don't know what he was about to say, because Tommy was playing him small, like, you just sold some weed. And he was like, nah. We didn't hear what he had to say.
I told y'all there was more to him.
Yeah, you did. Tierra was right. But you know what? I think Tommy shut him down because he's family. I think he wants to protect him.
He also shut him down because of what happened last week. Like, 2 people had just lost people in their crew.
Exactly. So he probably like, nah, I'm not letting you in this game. I mean, I just found you. I already lost a brother in Ghost. And now I found my real brother, and you trying to get in this game? No, I ain't letting you in this game.
Exactly.
You're right.
Yeah. So I really hope, I don't know how this is going to work out, because we know D-Mac has been shooting up JP's spot. And so now that D-Mac sees the relation between Tommy and JP, if he brings that information back to Jannard somehow, like, I could see Jannard really using that for malicious intent.
Yeah.
So I hope he keeps that to himself.
Well, because I think there's still a soft spot for his dad. I think he might not tell him that. That's why I was like, I hope that Jannard doesn't end up enlisting that other young man, because he's a wild card.
But it seems to me, now that Jannard is with Diamond, and it's seemingly working out the way Jannard wanted it to in the very beginning, and he was happy to see
he
Tommy.
Was ecstatic.
Yeah, he was happy to see Tommy go. I don't see why he would still have a beef with Tommy, unless Tommy continues to try to, move into that what they're doing, which he doesn't have to anymore, because Tommy has a new gig. He's
actually he is selling to their people. Oh, well, he hit up the same people that Diamond with the new drugs. So he is gonna cut into their profit.
Yeah, because it's only been so big a territory. So he's definitely gonna cut in. And when that happens, then I can see Jannard, trying to do something about that.
And you could see, like, Jannard, he was trying to fish for, like, compliments from Diamond in the episode. Like, I'm not saying he was being thirsty, but he was kind of like looking for approval from him. And you could tell that he was like, okay, so why did you put me in this role? And Diamond basically said that it's because you're family. Like, he wanted it to be a family thing. And so I think that maybe that was an endearing moment where he's kind of feeling like, okay, he's not just out for greed or just taking sides with these random white boys every now and like family means something to him. So I, like you said, Ron, I think he's definitely happy to see Tommy gone and having his brother back to himself so they can get back on track. And they had this plan to, like, get as much money as they could to stash away and not touch it for when the Serbs came back to collect, basically, because they know the Serbs are going to be back eventually. The thing that I think they're underestimating, though, is that the Serbs just want money. Like, they're not going to just want money and drugs. They're going to want blood. Y'all took out so many of their men.
You know, I thought the same thing when they were just like, oh, well, we'll just pay them a tax and they'll be cool. I was like, they gonna take your tax and kill you.
Yes. Yeah. So I was like, y'all really gotta, if you think money and drugs is the end game, you are sadly mistaken. Y'all better get it together and get your crew in line before that moment comes.
And that's the one thing they isolated Tommy, but Tommy has a history with the Serbs. He worked with Jason and them, and the other guy was Vladimir, the one that Ghost killed. So he knows them and knows their moves, and they could have benefited from that too.
Yep. Yeah, and I think it's just the animosity that Jannar has that really severed that relationship. Because Diamond doesn't seem like he was particularly upset. I mean, I know that he doesn't want to be back in that lane. I think we kind of have figured that Diamond is a little bit more reserved. He prefers not to have to kill. So I think that maybe that's the part of it where he's like, and yeah, maybe this might be best. But in terms of like legitimate beef, like I don't think he has that with Tommy.
There's no
they
beef.
just figured, like they said, it's bad for business, supposedly.
It's bad for business, and I think Diamond was going along with Jannar too. I think he saw, you know, how Jannar was coming at him and stuff and everything, and he was just like, this is how it should be. It should be me and you, da, da, da. And I think he just was kind of like trying to appease his brother a little bit.
I get it, but I agree with y'all. It's very naive. You started a war when you did it.
Yeah.
You're gonna break up the army. Yeah.
So yeah,
it's like crazy to me.
Right.
And which is why I was so shocked when Diamond was so quick to let this chick Adrian in like he did. Because I'm like, I mean, you don't think she's like some kind of operative? You don't think she's trying to get dirt or something?
Okay, I got the backstory. I got the backstory on Adrian, and then I want to hear what Tiffany got to say. No, I don't really want to hear what Tiffany got to say because I know what but Adrian she's a digital crime reporter, and she is also an investigative reporter. She studied at the University of North Carolina, and she's had several major crime stories that she broke across the country. And so she's got this tickle for Diamond to see what she can come from that. I was totally blown away when Diamond saw that she was sitting in his seat in the cafe, and he didn't seem to take any kind of issue with it. It was like, oh, you're sitting in my seat, and she asked him to sit down and shared her breakfast with him. And I'm sorry, guys. I know
you took it as some like innocent flirting.
Yeah, I okay. Somebody's got to help me as to why he did that. I don't want to hear from Tiffany because I know what she's gonna say.
I'm surprised that you're surprised.
Yeah.
Well, Adrian is a good-looking woman. I mean,
he's been in the bank for 15 years.
Hello.
I mean, she's an attractive woman and stuff. Like, stop it. Why do you think?
Hey, I'm not mad at him for the first night, but I am looking at him like,
thank you.
When she shows up at your door the next day, I'm like,
the next day.
With bacon and eggs and biscuits and pancakes.
Okay, but guys, look, somebody is sitting in your seat that you don't know from Adam.
A woman. A woman.
It's the woman part.
It's the woman part, because if it was anybody else, he probably would have said something.
Yes, and it's the fine woman part.
Well, let me say this. He mentioned something after sex that kind of gave me the idea that he wants to nurture this into a relationship. And I'm hoping that he just.
What did he say? He said it's been a minute.
I know. I'm hoping it's a hit. I hope
what did he say? He said he wants to nurture.
Well, he was asking her. You know, she said something about she had to go. Oh, he asked her.
Oh no, it was the look he gave, because she said she got a call. And she said she had to go meet someone, and he said, "Okay, cool." And so, but she came back and she gave him a kiss. She gave him a kiss and said it's work related. Yeah. And so then he just chilled back. So I guess, you know.
Well, she mentioned something about how I can't remember exactly what
It
she
was
said.
he said something to her, and she said, "Oh, so you're gonna try to say I'm special or something?" Or that's what.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
that's what it
yeah,
was.
yeah.
Yeah. And so I'm
And
like,
he asked her, he said, did you feel special?
right.
Yeah.
So it's like, come on, Diamond, slow down. It's a hit it and quit it routine. Don't get involved with it. But see, I'm afraid he's gonna get involved and he's gonna start running his mouth.
She might
Well,
get involved. She might get involved too.
I don't know.
Concerned when she said that she, like, he was basically asking her what she was doing out there late. She was like, my day is just getting started.
Yeah.
This time of the night. So I would have wanted him to probe her a little bit more, but well, what is it you
Me
do?
too.
Like, what do you mean you just getting
Me
started
too.
this night? Are you a streetwalker or something? Like, are you a prostitute? Like, what does
Yeah.
that mean?
You'd think that would matter. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, 15 years. I think he probably put them questions on the back burner.
Right. But if you want to get some, but don't be trying to go in a full-fledged relationship and you haven't
Right.
even got the scoop on this lady.
Right.
That's my-
Yeah, I thought she was an op. I thought that she was, I mean, I'm glad you gave us the backstory, Ron, because I thought she was either fed. I was like, did that cop, Seamus or whatever, put her up to it? I was like, was Jannard testing him out? I mean, I had all types of theories. Like, I just know that she's an op.
Well, hold up a minute though. You just sparked me though. It could have been him that gave her that information as she walked out that second night.
And she had it on the phone.
Right. And she, so she could actually be working with him on information.
Who's him?
Yeah.
Who you talking?
I'm sorry. Seamus. She could be working with Seamus, and Seamus is feeding her.
Because you remember last week when they sat in the car, Jannard and Seamus, and Jannard basically let Seamus know, like, I know what you're doing.
Exactly.
Getting paid off.
Diamond.
So maybe Seamus is playing defense now.
Yeah, he could be.
Right. That's what I thought. That's when I saw that, and was when she got the photo of him, I was like, did Seamus put her up to it?
It could very well be.
That's a good theory.
Could very well be.
Yeah, but I think I gotta give Diamond the hands for jumping in
Diamond's
the
already
lady
getting
that
hands
quick.
because I told you all three of them deserve their hands for turning their back on Tommy this week. So they
If something goes wrong, it's gonna be nobody's fault but his own for hopping in with her so quickly.
Well, remember now,
I'm willing to let all of that go, but when she shows up at your house the next day,
The second time.
That's when I'm like, no, you gotta look at her. She's suspect at that point.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, you
the
gotta-
second time.
side eye, side eye, because I'm like, okay, what? And now you coming with groceries? No, baby.
No, not groceries. She had food. She had pancakes and waffles and stuff.
Groceries.
Breakfast.
I don't care what you call them. Grocery, breakfast. I don't know, call it what you like. But my point is, you at my place, and I didn't call you. You didn't call me. Side eye. Give her that. I mean, because you don't know who this woman is.
Right, but what I say, Ron, kryptonite.
Okay.
Yes.
Kryptonite.
Yeah.
The woman
yeah,
will always be the man's weak spot.
I know.
Yeah.
But,
Kryptonite.
can't you just be happy that you hit it last night and might have put a few days?
It's been 15 years, Ron. No. No. He's like, oh, it was on the popping. Like, oh, and she back for more. And she complimented him. She told him that he put in work.
Yeah.
So she stroked the ego. So yeah. So he's
She know what she doing though.
Yeah, she know what she's doing. She knows.
Y'all worse than World War III.
And she doing all that for an article. I'm like, wow.
Hey,
You going for a Pulitzer? Like, what is
Right.
I guess a woman could be as bad as World War III for a man. Because I'm telling y'all have some nuclear attacks, boy. Y'all put it on a brother like that, and he then lost his mind when he saw her sitting in his seat. I mean, his mind gone. Didn't ask one question.
You know,
I said that last week when I was like, these people who live in these illegal lives and just let people walk in off the street and they just accept them and not vet them.
not vet.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. So like I said, if something goes wrong, Diamond has no one to blame but himself. So I really hope he puts his guard up though, because he got to know something is off about that.
I don't know.
She didn't play hard to get or nothing.
I don't know if he has a guard because, for one thing, I mentioned a couple times how he didn't support Tommy when Tommy realized that the Serbs was after him, and he said he would step away. And now, what we see, he's meeting with the other two, and they all decide that they're going to cut Tommy and he was right along with it. And if anybody really knows the true girth and value of Tommy, it's Diamond. And for him not to put up an argument or at least say,
well, he did try to defend Tommy to Jannar. He did.
No. What I'm saying is, when they decided to meet, to decide to cut Tommy out,
Yeah.
he could have said, no, we're going to do this the right way. Let's invite him.
Yeah.
Let's talk.
Yeah.
And let's see where we head. Let's see where we go after that. And then it could have been a split vote, but
yeah, all of that was foul. The way they handled that was foul.
He gave up Tommy like he didn't know Tommy.
Yeah.
And he knows Tommy's value.
But the streets is a dirty game, so no loyalty. Sometimes it's quick to be friends one day and enemies the next.
But you got to understand your weakness and somebody else's strength, and that's what brings longevity.
But again, they're all green in this regard. They haven't been in the game as long as Tommy has, and so they don't maybe they do or don't. But the value of burning bridges like that, like they might not be able to come back from.
If anyone ought to know that Diamond is the one I think is seasoned.
Right, he's the only one.
Yeah, because he had to understand relationship was part of his prison culture too, in order to survive in that environment. Relationship, loyalty, all of that was extremely important. So it's odd, I think, and maybe it is because that he's coming out as an OG, that maybe he feel like he has rights to move the way he wants to move. But I thought code was code. So
for real.
So it's interesting that they have his character kind of moving against code, I think. That's what it is.
And back to what you were saying about like their relationship last week, you were saying how maybe Jannar could have been side-eyeing Diamond for not standing up for Tom. Like, I think that he definitely was, because the way he looked back into that barbershop, like I still replay that scene in my head. Because he and what he told Elijah about like eventually all the CBI is gonna come, like they might split with him for a second, but eventually everybody's coming with me. Like I don't think the fact that Tommy is out will make the animosity necessarily go away completely. Like I think there's still something there. I know he's happy that Tommy's out the picture, but I think he knows that he and Jannar and Diamond, they still have this power struggle in terms of who is the ultimate authority. And like I said, like he kind of endeared himself to Jannar this week by what he said, but Jannar he's always been the wild card, and I think that he wouldn't hesitate to flip on Diamond if for some reason Diamond still wanted to do things his way.
I think so. And I think because Diamond was defending Tommy and he knows that they were getting cool, that's probably another reason why he wants D-Mac to watch him, because he probably suspects that Diamond will end up linking back with Tommy, because we saw in the previews Diamond was meeting with Tommy.
Yeah.
And he was asking him about Dahlia, and in the preview it looked like Tommy was playing dumb,
right,
or whatever about it. But again,
it could have been because, like you said, Tommy is selling to all of their people.
Yeah, he is.
So that could have been why he was questioning him. But I still think Jannar is not fully on Jannard's on Diamond's team. Like he's
suspect. He's
still suspect. And then my sis, the chemist, I'm worried about her, because when I watched that scene and he told Liliana, like, go check on her, I was like, oh, did she take herself out?
I was wondering the same thing. I was like, did she kill herself?
Right.
She would try to run away. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, either run away or kill herself. And I was like, because Tommy was like, Liliana said, whatever dirt you got on her's got her nervous. And I was like, what did she do to herself? But I did see her in the previews for next week, so she's still alive. But that part had me worried, and I want to know what Tommy has on her that had her so shook.
No, they have the information that Claudia told her at first, that she forged the documentation for the diet pill, all that stuff. Mai had all that information, so that's how they got her in the first place.
Okay, I thought Mai was the one that forged the stuff.
No, the chemist did. And that's
Okay.
what Claudia threatened her license and all that other stuff, you know. So, but Mai had the evidence.
Okay, got you. So yeah, I guess that is it then.
Because she's not really dirty for real. I think she made a mistake. What she did was wrong,
Well,
but she ain't no drug dealer and all
Right.
of that stuff.
Like she
That's a
said,
federal
Tommy was
crime.
like, fortunately
Right.
for you, I am.
Giving up that information, that's a federal crime. So she's good and heavy in
Mhm.
you know, she doesn't have bodies or anything like that, but you don't give up that kind of information without.
Yeah, she wasn't trying to be in deep like that, you know, like with Tommy and them.
Right. But
Yeah.
she's got something to worry about should somebody find out what she had done. So
They might have to, you know, Tommy might put Liliana up to getting the chemist to show her how to cook it, because if she does, then the chemist is not she's expendable.
and remember
Right.
what Tommy said when Tommy looked around and said, "Is this all paid for?" And the chemist said, "Yep." So,
Yeah.
so we don't need you because it's paid for. And
Yeah.
like you said, if Liliana, if she shows Liliana how to work, you know,
Yeah, because Liliana's smart. If
Yeah.
Liliana figure out how to cut that drug, make that drug, reproduce it,
I
then-
guarantee she's gonna be watching closely too.
Yeah.
yes.
She's a
Yeah.
So you know, Dahlia is a liability anyway. So it's I can easily see that she'll be leaving the episodes
You
soon.
mean the chemist? Dolly is the drug. I forgot.
Huh?
Dahlia is the drug. That's
Oh,
not the
yeah. I'm
chemist.
sorry, the chemist. What's her name?
I don't even know. They probably
Dr.
say it.
something
I
Williams,
read it, but
Is
I
it
forgot.
Lauren? Is it Dr. Lauren or something?
Yes, it is Dr.
Okay.
Lauren.
Okay, yeah. Well, she's a liability. So
And the other thing they mentioned is that Mai was an orphan, so nobody's coming to look for her.
right.
That's
apparently.
terrible.
Somebody's
Right.
gonna look for
Because
it.
we had
Yeah,
that
somebody's
concern-
going, yeah.
we had that concern last week about like, what if her parents or somebody who is that who's the person to answer to for her death? And apparently it's nobody. So rest in peace, Mai. Sorry,
Yeah.
nobody's coming to look for you.
Cold grave she lies in.
With Reggie, our new friend Reggie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, him too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Reggie deserved all that though.
No, he did.
He
He
deserved it.
deserved it.
So Reggie can get the hands from the grave.
Yeah, it's a whole lot of people that deserve the hands this week.
Yeah, it was, but I enjoyed the episode, and I think it's setting us up nicely for next week. Because it looked like Tommy is, shooting at people. He killed a guy like point blank range in the previews, and so I'm like, okay, Tommy's getting his hands dirty again, and I'm like, is this more Serb retaliation that's going on there? Not sure. And then you can hear Liliana talking throughout the previews. She's basically warning Tommy about being on his own now and maybe not pushing too hard.
Mhm.
And you can see Tommy going up to Claudia and basically telling her he doesn't want to have to second guess her. And I was like, yep, she's continuing to be a liability.
Mm-hmm.
So she's gonna have to get it together.
Mm-hmm.
But overall, I think a lot of our predictions, we've set up some good stuff. I know in our roundtable discussion that you guys had earlier this week, you mentioned the possibility of Dre coming back into the picture.
Two-Bit.
I mean, sorry, 2-Bit. Dre is dead. 2-Bit coming back into the picture. So
Yes,
yeah.
I think 2-Bit is coming back. I think that if 2-Bit comes back, that there will be, it would be some friction between he and Jannard, because both of them have these explosive relationships. I think that would be a good matchup.
Yeah.
I think that's too, the writers had that in mind, which is why they made the split between Tommy and the crew, so that Tommy can bring in 2-Bit and start to establish his own crew again, because 2-Bit knows how to bring a crew together. So
You know how to, he's an enforcer.
yeah,
Definitely an enforcer.
yeah.
Yeah, and like you said, I would love to see 2-Bit and Jannard go head to head.
Mhm,
That
mhm.
would be a good matchup.
Jannard would lose that. That's 2-Bit's too. I mean, Jannard.
Look out him.
I don't know. I mean,
Yeah.
For the advantage though.
He got, that's right. You got home court advantage.
Hey.
You can't go to Chicago and think you're gonna just,
home court don't mean nothing when you don't have a heart. And 2-bit will kill you in a heartbeat.
Yeah, but home court means something when you got more bodies.
Well,
and
I
stuff.
mean,
And,
you know,
and,
I
and it's a
wouldn't,
different code between New York and Chicago.
I wouldn't suspect he'd go up and you know, into his home, you know, into his space. But if he ever caught him alone, which he could do,
Like as we saw in the first couple episodes,
on the
so
first
when he got
episode.
snatched up.
exactly. So yeah, he's you know, and he usually travels alone anyway, so it seems. So yeah, he's touchable.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I want to shout out the wardrobe department. I think Courtney said his name is Frank because that suit that Tommy had on was fire.
Tommy cleans up nice.
Tommy cleans up nice. I was like, go ahead, Tommy.
I had my eye on that suit, but
And Claudia seemed to have her eye on him too.
yes,
Yeah, she was sleeping on him, talking about, well, you look like a drug dealer. You know, nah. Because Tommy, you know, this ain't the first time he had to put on a suit. You know, back when he had to get Nomar up out of there.
Right.
You know, he had a suit on then too. So he cleans up nicely.
And he gave props to Ghost.
I was about to say that.
Yeah.
Yes, he did. And I do like how they do that in the show. You know, that there's always some references to Ghost and they're paying homage to him. So I like that.
Yeah, so I thought that was a really cute moment. He was kind of like, I hope I picked up some stuff from him.
Yeah, that suit was fire.
Yeah, it was. So I did enjoy that. Was there anybody that you guys were considering for the game ball? Nobody pops to the top of my mind right now.
I was gonna answer the same.
Everybody could have got their hands.
Yeah, I was mad at everybody this week.
I don't think there's a game ball this show. I don't see a game ball.
Y'all wouldn't give it to Tommy because he keep coming through?
No.
Yeah, we couldn't give Tommy the game ball because he was the only one that ain't pissed me off this week.
Right.
I mean, Liliana didn't piss me off this week, but she didn't do anything.
To me, the game ball is given to someone who does something extraordinary. Tommy's just surviving right now. So I see in this episode. He's just moving to survive.
But he set up the move with the lockers and stuff. Like,
well, I mean, guess where he got that information from? So, you know, it's interesting.
Where did he get it from?
Well, what I'm saying is, it's interesting how they wrote that in, and we know where that came from.
But he doesn't know that Braden and Tariq did that. So,
right.
You know.
Well, but again, working with, you know, we don't know all of what he and Ghost were able to do because, you know, that wasn't necessary, but it's in his acumen, in his mind somewhere. He pulled it from something. And if he didn't, he at least was smart enough to know how to work it. So I don't give that a game ball. I just say he's using his head on how.
I do wish they would have done something more original than the lockers because now that we've seen it referenced in PowerBook 2, it's not quite as impressive. Like, okay, Tariq and Braden was doing it. It made sense for them in the college world, but it seems like Tommy. It's discreet, but he's way more high level. I expect like a way more high level plan.
You know what? I wonder because this is a convention I've seen on other shows, not just for drug dealers, but like for espionage, that they do it in public places where people are not gonna notice anybody.
Right. Hiding in plain sight.
Yeah. So it's not that it's not high level. I think it's very common because I see it in other places. So I'm thinking it may be something that people just do.
Right.
That's true.
Yeah, because I was watching some other show where they were doing it in spa lockers. Like you go to the spa and they were trading stuff out in the spa lockers.
Right.
Lord. Well, I mean, like you said, it might not be uncommon, but the fact that it was used in another show, I think that it's not quite, it doesn't have the wow factor like it did when Tariq and Braden
in the show in the same power universe.
Yeah.
Which is why
I'm gonna be watching public lockers when I go. I'm gonna watch
right.
Notice people who's going to them. See what they're doing up.
Yeah. So, well, I think we kind of got all our predictions out. Anything else you guys want to add before we close out? Nope.
About a round table? About another round table?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Well,
invite people to.
We can add that. Yeah. So. In the coming weeks, we plan to have another roundtable discussion. So if you would like to participate in that for our fourth series, recaps, then you can drop down in the comment section and let us give us your email and let us know that you'd like to participate in the next roundtable, or you can hit us up on our social media at The Spot Real Talk. Either Twitter or Instagram is usually the two that we use the most. Just drop us a DM, slide us your email address, and let us know you want to participate. Now, we do ask that if you want to participate, your availability, we're going to have to confirm that with you. And then, of course, we want you to be able to be in a quiet location and to have like good internet connection. I know one time my internet was going nuts on me. So those are just some of the prerequisites, and we'll give you more details as they come. So yeah, just let us know about that. And also just check out the ones that we've already done. We've had some really great ones in the past 2 weeks with Angela Lewis, our interview with her, and then the roundtable discussion to follow for Snowfall, and then our most recent one with Anthony Fleming from the Force cast, who plays JP, and the roundtable discussion that followed that. So a lot of great content. Check it out. And if you guys don't have anything else to add, I think I'll close out by saying make sure you subscribe to our channel, like the video, click the notification bells so that you get alerted every time we post, and drop in the comment section and give us your thoughts and predictions on this episode. And I think we kind of wrapped it up pretty nicely, so we'll probably go ahead and call it a night. We'll see you guys next week, same time, same place.
Lately it's looking like everything perfect. Out the mud with it, I put the work in. You can find me where the turf is. Pin precision like a surgeon. Bad ones used to curb me. Showing up to the show when the curve split. She know that I'm worth it, I'm finna go up, I'm aerial. I got the hit stash, got a bracelet for impact. Real tricky, quick to flip a pretty penny to a thick stack. Quick stat, think fast and I talk real. I give a f about how they feel. Me and Zay just dropped the propane and it sounded like mass appeal. For my dog, I'ma ride till the wheels kill. Got his hand on the hammer, so keep it legit. I've been the man with the blueprint. I'm gonna stop till I own every brick.